Hello again, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cassie. Is going to be my first ever book haul. This is a stack of things that I've collected over the past couple of months. This will be a combination of new and used buys. I try to buy a lot of my books used. Cheaper books means more books. What's not to love about that? I'm going to start with the books that I've actually read because I just needed to. So here we go. First we have Tender is the Flesh, which is a dystopian novel. All the animals have contracted some kind of virus, making their meat inedible to humans. So the government, being what it is, opted to, instead going for vegetarianism or veganism, let's legalize cannibalism. Great plan. We follow a guy who works in a human processing plant. One day he gets given a pet human, like you might have a goat or whatever, to raise and rear, and yeah, it's just following him and his experience and the world, and it's brutal. If you need to look up trigger warnings, do. It was a lot. There was one scene in particular, nothing to do with the cannibalism, but it was, yeah, stuck in my brain forever. But I loved it. I absolutely adored this book. Gave it 5 stars. So glad I read it. And this was from Vinted for £1. Everyone was trying to sell it for like a tenner, and I was like, no, could buy that brand new for a tenner. So yeah, found it for £1. Good stuff to you, mystery Vinted seller. Thank you. Gonna stack up my books over here on this little stack of prints that should be on my wall but fell off a year and a half ago and never got put back up because laziness is real. Secondly, we have Murder in the Family. This is a mystery book about a documentary film that's been made about a cold case from 2003 in which a man was found dead in his back garden. The only person in the house was his like 10-year-old stepson, and nobody knows what happened. So these true crime folk are going to try and solve the mystery, and I did. I'm very pleased to let you know. Solve the mystery-ish. It was a fun time, fun ride. Would recommend it if you're into that kind of thing. Next we have All Systems Red, which is the first in the Murderbot series. Okay, we follow Murderbot, and they are an android they're kind of a hired mercenary, and they are sent to protect humans from dangerous stuff. But all he really wants to do is be left alone to watch terrible TV shows, which, you know, we can all appreciate that. I love Murderbot. I've read a few of the books now, and I just wanted to own one to sort of represent the series as a whole. So have it on my shelves and look at it and go, oh, Murderbot, wasn't that good? I'm not really big into sci-fi, so I don't know how much appeal this holds for the average sci-fi reader, but yeah, it was a fun time. If you fancy giving it a go, you should do so. Then we have Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. In this, we follow a 60-year-old Chinese mother who works in a tea shop. She wakes up one morning to find a corpse on the floor, and she reports it to the police, but notices that he's got a flash drive in his hand. She steals it and figures out, yeah, I can solve this murder way better than the cops could. We follow her, and she makes some friends along the way, and it's just a really cute, cozy, it's a cozy mystery. Should have probably said that in the beginning. It was lovely. One of my favourite reads of the past couple of months. It was a great time. So that is it for the books that I've already read. Now we have all the books that are on my TBR. First we have A Fatal Crossing, which, as you can see, found in the charity shop for 50p. Who could say no to a 50p book? I certainly can't. November 1924, the Endeavour sets sail with 2,000 passengers and a killer on board. When a man's body is found on deck, ship officer Timothy Birch is ready to declare the death a tragic accident, but Scotland Yard Inspector James Temple is certain there's more to this misfortune than meets the eye. Mounting an investigation, the pair uncover the theft of a priceless painting and encounter a string of suspects with secrets to hide. With just days remaining until the Endeavour reaches New York, their search for the culprit is fraught with danger, and all the while the passengers roam the ship with a killer in their midst. Ooh. Not heard the most amazing things about this, but I've read a couple of boat-related mystery thriller kind of books lately and had a fun time with them, so thought I'd give it a go. Next we have Everything You Ever Wanted. I don't know much about it, but it's about a woman who moves to a new planet to start a new life, and I think it's a reality TV show, and if she goes she can never come back. I've heard it's a weird book and I love a weird book, so that's all I needed to know. That was a terrible description, but that's what you're getting. Next, Prosopagnosia. It's the face blindness thing. It's short, which is going to help for my 30 books in 30 days that I'm doing this month. In the middle of that right now. We follow 15-year-old Berta. She likes playing the Prosopagnosia game, where she stands in front of the mirror holding her breath until she can no longer recognise her own face. The description gives me very little. The cover is pretty beautiful. I wanted it. This is Animals Eat Each Other, which I bought at the same time as Tender is the Flesh, because the same seller was selling all their books for £1. This one did turn out to be an ARC, which I was a little bit irritated about, because I don't... Are you allowed to sell ARCs? Is that a thing? I don't know. I bought it because it was short. A young woman with no name embarks on a fraught three-way relationship with Matt, a Satanist and a tattoo artist. That's all one person. And his girlfriend Frances, a new mother. The liaison is caged by strict rules and rigid emotional distance. Nonetheless, it's all too easy to surrender to an attraction so powerful she finds herself erased, abandoning even her own name in favour of a new one, Lilith. As Lilith grows closer to Matt, she begins to recognise the dark undertow of obsession and jealousy that her presence has created between Matt and Frances. She finds herself balancing on a knife's edge between pain and pleasure, the promise of the future, and the crushing isolation of the present. Could be good, could be terrible. Never heard anyone talk about it. Next we have Follow Me to Ground. In a house in a wood, Ada and her father live peacefully, tending to their garden and the wildlife in it. They are not human though. Ada was made by her father from the ground, a unique patch of earth with birthing and healing properties, but perhaps he didn't get her quite right. They spend their days healing the local human folk, the Cures, who visit them guardedly with their ailments. When Ada embarks on a relationship with a local Cure named Samson, she is forced to choose between her old life with her father and her new one with a human lover. Her decision will uproot the town and the ground itself forever. I'm into it. Hotel Iris. In a crumbling seaside hotel on the coast of Japan, quiet 17-year-old Mari works the front desk as her mother fusses over the off-season customers. When one night they are forced to eject a prostitute and a middle-aged man from his room, Mari finds herself drawn to the man's voice in what will become the first gesture of a long seduction. Mari begins to visit the mysterious man at his island home, and he initiates her into a dark realm of both pain and pleasure. As Mari's mother and the police begin to close in on the illicit affair, events move to a dramatic climax. That's very vague. Stuff happens. There's a climax. Next we have The Drift. Been dying to read this for ages. An overturned coach full of students, all of them are trapped. A stranded cable car full of strangers, one of them is dead. An isolated chalet full of friends, soon they'll be enemies. Outside, a snowstorm rages. Inside each group, a killer lurks. But that's not their only problem. Why is no rescue coming? What are they trying to escape from? And who are the terrifying whistlers? A locked room mystery, a dystopian thriller, a nail-shredding horror. One terrifying conclusion. I want to read it, like, right this second. The same seller was selling this one for super cheap. I had never heard of it, but it was supposed to be a mixed media book, which I'm enjoying at the moment. I thought Nat Ogle was a woman as well when I bought it. This is about a rape trial. I think it's documents and stuff. The transcripts of the police interviews, emails and texts, journal, conversations on 4chan, his drama scripts. A man writing about a woman getting raped makes me feel a little bit icky. The format looks cool. Down to give it a chance. Again, it's one I've not heard much about, if anything, so... Okay, next we have a book that I did buy brand new because I loved the cover and shit Cassandra saw. I was planning to make a video that could be a fun little challenge reading books with my name in it because, I don't know, why not? And I love an anthology. Just loads of stories about women, including Cassandra, like, you know, the prophet, the one who's like, hey, Troy, don't accept any presents maybe. And they're like, ah, shut up woman, you don't know what you're on about. And then Trojan horse, war, all the things. I'm so eloquent. Again, the second Cassandra book is the Cassandra Complex. Saw this one in my local supermarket for like £5, so hardback book for a £5. It's tough to say no. Cassandra Penelope Dankworth is a creature of habit. She likes what she likes. Museums, jumpsuits, her boyfriend Will. and strongly dislikes what she doesn't. Mess, change, her boss drinking out of her mug. Her life runs in a pleasing, predictable order until now. She's just been dumped, she's just been fired, her local cafe has run out of banana muffins. Then something truly unexpected happens. Cassie discovers she can go back and change the past. Now Cassie should be able to find a way to fix the life she accidentally obliterated. And with time on her side, how hard can it be? Oh, but she's going to realise that she doesn't want to change things and everything's great. Like, it sounds very generic, but I want to give it a chance. It sounds fun. We're getting near the end now. We have 3 of the 4 Forgotten Women non-fiction books. Don't leave tons of non-fiction. We have the scientists, the artists, and the leaders. There's also the writers, but I haven't found that one super cheap on eBay yet. I like the idea of reading about all of the women from history that no one talks about because men get all the glory. I read the first couple, I think, from the leaders, which ironically I've already forgotten because my memory is the worst. Look how pretty they are. They're so colourful. Let's get in precarious. We have The Housemaid. It was nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards last year. Everyone seems to love it. I have read one other book by this author. Never Lie, maybe, which was decent. I'm not expecting this to be like a 5-star read or anything, but it should be a fun time. I love a thriller, even a terrible thriller's just got some enjoyment to it. A woman goes to live in a house and become a housemaid / nanny for this family. She's given this teeny tiny little room to sleep in, and it turns out it only locks from the outside, I think. And the wife is kind of like gaslighting her, telling her to do stuff, and then when she does it, telling her that's wrong. I've heard it's good. The Housemaid. Then we have 3 Dahlias, which is another mystery kind of book about 3 actresses who have all played the same character. They've gone to a convention celebrating the character, and I assume someone ends up dead. When fictional death turns into real bodies, can the 3 Dahlias find the answers to the murders among the fans, the film crew, and the family, or even in the books themselves? I've heard Meg with Books talk about this one. I haven't heard anyone else ever mention it on BookTube, but yeah, I trust her judgment. Blood Sugar. I know it has diabetic rep in it, and it's a thriller. She's accused of 4 murders. She's only guilty of 3. So yeah, diabetic serial killer woman trying to prove her innocence. Maybe. I can't be able to read the blurb because our lunch break's almost over and I need to get back to work before I get in trouble. Then we have Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I'm not at all a romance person. I read maybe 1 or 2 romance books a year. I usually find them fine, but the internet won't shut up about this one, so I'm gonna give it a go. There's an age gap. It's an older city girl falls in love with like a young farm boy kind of guy, and they've got to navigate how to deal with that. Neither of them wants to change their entire lives, but they love each other, blah blah. It might be cute, it might be terrible. We'll give it a go. And finally, I'm currently reading this one. It is People from My Neighborhood, which is a very teeny little, I'll put back out, little teeny tiny compared to a real book. It's a tiny little baby. But yeah, this is a short story collection. They're all linked together. Like, they're literally 2 or 3 pages each, the stories, and each one's about a different person in this neighborhood. There's recurring characters throughout, but yeah, I'm maybe like 5 stories in so far. I have no thoughts or feelings yet. It's fine, but I love the concept, and again, it was recommended to me as a short weird book, and as we've established many times, that is very much my jam. So, oh look, it just fits in frame. Amazing. This was my book haul from the past couple of months. Have you read any of these? What did you think? Which should I prioritise? Is Part of Your World a good choice for a newbie romance reader? If you haven't read Tender is the Flesh yet, why not? Thank you for joining me today and hanging out. It's been fun, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye!